Hey, Friendo, Steve here.
Yeah, Larson.
And welcome back to Going in Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you'll be listening to. On today's episode, we're talking about Friday's AEW Collision. Saturdays. What is today? Monday? Yesterday was Sunday, the day before this weekend's AEW Collision, and Friday's WWE Smackdown, although so much of Smackdown was just a reminder that SummerSlam was happening, so we're going to go a little bit light on that. You know, it's funny, we don't really get the criticism much anymore about like, hey, can you do on go-homes? Can you do them on Fridays? Because I think people are cluing in that nothing really happens.
They're 2-hour ads for the pay-per-view, generally speaking.
Yeah, basically. I thought there was some decent stuff as far as ads are concerned. I could watch that Cody Brock promo, the video package, all day long.
Oh, they definitely got their mileage out of that thing, haven't they?
They really did. I love that song, though. So, you know, they did some. So we're going to go light on the SummerSlam. We'll go hard on Collision with maybe a surprising match that's been booked for All In, and also another one that's not so surprising but should be pretty damn good. Talking, of course, about Samoa Joe and CM Punk, and before that, FTR and the Young Bucks. We'll get to all that.
Yes.
Of course, we also have a little bit of news to talk about. First up, I've seen this sentiment online now that there was, I don't know, I guess you can call it a bit of a divisive finish in the SummerSlam main event with Jimmy Uso turning on his brother and maybe seemingly perhaps rejoining the Bloodline. So it got a lot of people saying, oh, jump the shark. When's it going to end? We might have an answer as to when the Bloodline story is going to end. Larson, what is that answer?
So prior to Roman Reigns' title defense against Jey Uso at SummerSlam, Fightful spoke to sources in WWE to see if there was any plans in the works for Roman to drop the undisputed Universal title. In short, the answer appears to be nah. Fightful asked, quote, bluntly about when Roman could lose the title that he's held for well over 1,000 days at this point, and they were told, quote, whenever Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman say it fucking ends. The source also indicated that, quote, they are constantly looking at every possibility. When they think it's the very best thing for business, they'll know to switch it up, do it right, and really make someone doing it. So let's talk about this too, because this seems to dovetail with this conversation. Paul Heyman, the post-SummerSlam media scrum, said that right now they're in the bottom of the third of the Bloodline saga.
Yeah.
So we're 3 years into this thing. Third inning. That means we got 6 more years of this. 9 years total.
Yeah.
It's a year for every inning if the analogy is 1-to-1.
Right. Yeah. Right. Exactly. Unless it goes extra innings.
Exactly. Which is entirely. But then, you know, based on rules now, you start out with someone on second base.
Yeah. Who knows? Hey, you know, by 2027, though, aliens might come and rewrite the rules of baseball.
That's entirely possible.
You've been doing it wrong. 13 innings.
They somehow make every game last an hour and a half instead of 2.5, 3 hours.
Right, but they fit 15 innings in there because they could bend space-time. So this is the one thing that I want people to sort of come back from the ledge on. Just because Paul Heyman says that the Bloodline story is in the third inning and we've got 6 years left potentially, I'm not going to put words in Paul Heyman's mouth. I don't think that necessarily means Roman's going to be holding up this title for the next 6 years, although it's possible that they want to break the Bruno record. It is entirely possible they want that to happen. That being said, I would be kind of shocked if he didn't lose that time. I think you can absolutely tell the Bloodline story having Roman still have dropped the title sometime during the Bloodline story. I don't think the title is going to be necessary throughout the entirety of it. So I think that might be, you know, going to the quote from whoever Fightful source is, whenever Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman says it fucking ends, dude, I'm assuming it's Michael Hayes. Maybe not. And this quote, they're constantly looking at every possibility. When they think it's the very best thing for business, they'll know to switch it up, do it right, and really make someone doing it. That's the most important part. Business is booming right now. SummerSlam is the highest grossing non-Mania event.
Well, it's every event they have now is the highest grossing event in that market, seemingly.
In that market, or for that premium live event, or with that branding or whatever. They're upping the game. I mean, one thing about this Endeavor deal, not to stray too far away from, but one thing about this Endeavor deal is that they're still going to have to license their shit. They're still going to have to go after deals. And so they're going to need to make every 4 years or 5 years or whatever, whenever new contract cycles come up, they're going to have to really ramp up. Hey, we're bringing in this, that, the other one. Everything is going great these days. So whatever works best for the business. If the Bloodline stops becoming a draw, then they're going to have to pivot. They're going to have to do other things. I hope what Heyman really means is they are considering the Bloodline story a saga that can weave in and out of WWE's programming in perpetuity, because they've set up characters that can go. And Solo is a very young guy who can carry on the Bloodline story. There are other people out there, whether on the indie circuit or wherever outside, I should say outside of WWE, that can be woven in and out of the story. Mm-hmm. And I think that, it would be interesting to see what they can do. I don't think that Paul Heyman has like a thing. Okay, at WrestleMania 40, we're going to do this. At Mania 41, we're going to do this. At Mania 42. I honestly don't think that, because this past year, they would have killed to get The Rock, and instead they did Cody. But if they could have got The Rock, they would have got The Rock, and it would not have been Cody.
Yep.
So I think that the idea is it's a very long story they're telling. I don't necessarily think – I think the story they're telling right now necessitates Roman having the title. I don't think that's always going to be the case, though.
No. I don't think so either. And to talk about The Rock briefly, if they can get The Rock for WrestleMania 40, it'll be Rock Roman at WrestleMania 40.
Right, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
That's the priority match. Or if they can get The Rock Roman, they're going to do that. Wherever they can make that happen.
At 41, at 42, 43, wherever they can get The Rock, guess what? Whatever's happening, they're going to take and they're going to put The Rock.
They'll do Rock Roman there, and they'll worry about the title after that.
Right, business comes first. Yeah.
Exactly. So if it also is a situation where if they consider the Bloodline saga, as you mentioned, just an extended story involving Roman, Solo, Jimmy, Jay, and whoever else they might bring in the future, then during the course of that story, you can tell the story of Roman dropping the belt, his redemption arc, trying to redeem himself for his misdeeds that he's doing now as tribal chief.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
He can get that huge baby face run that they've been wanting for him for like a decade now.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Yeah,
you can make that happen. You can set up Solo as potentially the new tribal chief as a heel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and that continues the story. So, I mean, there's plenty of options for them to continue it another 6 years. I don't know, but it's simply a situation where these characters are going to remain a constant through WWE programming over the next, say, 6 years, because that's the analogy Heyman gave.
Sure. Yeah.
Sure. I mean, that's not terribly surprising. I don't anticipate Usos leaving within those 6 years, Solo leaving those 6 years. The only reason Roman might leave within those 6 years if he decides, all right, I'm going to start making movies full time.
Yeah. And who knows, what, and the thing is, like, if, Roman right now, given that he's already what could be considered part-time, I just wonder if trying to move the concept of storytelling and wrestling a bit further, and honestly, it's not something that's unprecedented. You look at what AAA does. It's like they've got some stories that they've got characters that have history that dates back decades.
Yeah.
We got referees with family history that goes back decades in AAA. Yep. And I wonder if this is simply like, because here's the thing also is that I don't think the way pro wrestling stories are generally told is going to change anytime soon. And honestly, like for example, I was reading up on, and I haven't finished it, so no spoilers, but somebody asked Bill Hader if he knew what the finish to Barry was, how Barry was going to end. And he says, yeah, sometime around like season 2, I sort of started thinking, okay, this could work. Pro wrestling by and large is made up as they go along. Yeah. I think that there are directions that they understand they can go, but injuries happen, changes in the business happen, things work, they resonate or they don't resonate. And so you can get The Rock or you don't get The Rock. And so I think there's this sort of wrong-headed idea out there from some fans that, oh yeah, they've got this whole script planned, every beat for the next 5 years, and this is what's going to happen. And I simply don't think, A, that's realistic, or B, anybody in pro wrestling that's done pro wrestling would want to do that, because it just doesn't make any sense to do it that way.
Yeah, I understand that, but I think also given how successful the Bloodline story has been and how well it's been developed, how well the character's been developed, I think people would like some sort of satisfying conclusion to the story, to see it reach a conclusion, a definitive conclusion, because you compare, if we assume, and I think we both feel this way, that Bloodline storyline is at least arguably the greatest storyline in wrestling history. It's at least top 5.
Sure, absolutely.
And if you say, well, imagine if you were watching Succession, for example. Let's toss it out there.
Right.
And you knew Succession was kind of open-ended. Never knew if you get the conclusion that you feel like you want.
Yeah.
That you feel like there's inevitability that this is all going to come to a head. There's going to be a conclusion of the story.
Yeah.
I think by and large, most pro wrestling stories are just these kind of ideas and threads that weave and come and go, and maybe a couple of years later they'll reference it. But we got something that seems, in a lot of ways, very focused for a pro wrestling storyline. And, that's why I think a lot of ways people will refer to this storyline as cinema.
Yeah, sure.
Because it does seem like it has some cinematic ambitions in terms of how they're telling the story and the story beats they're hitting.
Yeah.
And I think the emotion that they're generating from the audience.
Yeah, sure.
When you get something this good, you want to see it reach a conclusion. You want to see something. I think that's why a lot of people were like, Cody's winning at WrestleMania because all the ingredients are there to reach that crescendo.
Yeah.
And of course, it didn't happen. But, if this storyline in whatever iteration it's going to be, this kind of continues on even for another year without any outlook for some sort of definitive conclusion, then you run the risk. It's like, all right, people are like, all right, jump the shark, spinning wheels. When is this going to end?
Yeah, dude, I don't know. It's interesting. So I look at, to make another HBO television series analogy, The Righteous Gemstones, which every season finishes in a way that could be the series finale. But every season they jump into a new adventure, so to speak.
Yeah.
And reading an interview with Jody Hill, the showrunner, director, whatever, Danny McBride's partner and all that, he said this is the kind of story that we would love to see, and we think we can make this over generations, meaning decades. And that's why I think they try to load up with like really good younger actors, and they understand that, Danny McBride and his co-stars, his siblings, I forget, Adam Levine is one of them. I forget what Judy's name is, but it's not like
Edie Patterson.
That sounds right.
I think something like that.
But it's not like they're super old, so they can keep on going probably for decades.
Yeah.
And as long as the story beats are satisfying, like Sami Zayn's character arc as it pertains to the Bloodline was, in my opinion, a very satisfying one.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Now, if they spin their wheels and don't create those compelling story beats, then you're 1,000% right. I just don't know necessarily that a definitive conclusion where everybody parts ways is necessary if the idea is this is a generational story that can keep going, as long as Roman's conclusion is satisfying, as long as Jimmy's conclusion is satisfying, Jay's conclusion is satisfying. But then maybe they can still have roles later on, like Brando got shot up in The Godfather, and then he was the consigliere, and then he passes. And then the other characters take over. So, and I know obviously The Godfather had conclusions to it, but kind of the idea is it never ends,
I mean, I understand that, but I think in terms of the Roman aspect of it,
sure, that has to end eventually, because
that has to have a conclusive ending. And I think if you don't look at it as in this is a tapestry, of characters that'll weave in and out. And I think also based on, the Godfather is a good analogy because there's a lot of, crime family analogies with the Bloodline one.
Sure, absolutely, yeah.
If we never got Godfather 2 or 3 at the beginning of the first one, or at the end of the first one, we're like, all right, I get it. That's the story they were told. And then it's a conclusion, and you see Michael's transformation. And it makes sense. Even another Godfather movie was never made. And I think a lot of people want that from this. That if Roman loses the titles, Bloodline part ways, and they never do anything else with it, all right, we got our definitive end. But if they want to leave it open, they could continue telling stories with these characters within the context of what the Bloodline began completely.
Yeah. I'm sorry, they had more there.
No, that was it.
I think we're sort of saying the same thing. Like as long as there are, as long as eventually Roman loses this damn title, and he doesn't hold it up when there's other people who can tell compelling stories with that title.
You're talking about
Cody Rhodes, or LA Knight. I think that they're gonna have to do that, because otherwise it will get stale and business will suffer because of it. But it will be interesting to see what transpires over the next 5 years. Especially, it'll be interesting to see if Vince is out. Because right now he's out. Right now he's out with the back stuff, and he's got the investigation going on.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, I could be completely wrong. Maybe the investigation will take a lot longer to wrap him up, and maybe next week he'll be fine from this life-altering back surgery and he'll be back to using his red pen. I don't know, but in the meantime, it's seemingly he's out, and it's Triple H's and Paul Heyman's to tell. But you look at what Brock did for Cody this past weekend, and if they don't pull the trigger on Cody Rhodes at some time in the next 12 months, then it's going to be a big old waste. If they're just stubborn about it. But, I kind of feel like they're going to be, I think Roman losing the belt can be a really great, turning point in what can continue to be a compelling story.
It can, but with the Roman aspect of it, you need a conclusion to his initial arc of Tribal Chief. I think without that, or if it takes another 3 years to get there, people's patience might start to wane.
Yeah, I mean, you see any misstep, which I think that a lot of people consider this SummerSlam match a bit of a misstep. And somebody here earlier in our YouTube chat asked, well, how would you guys have booked it? Honestly, I probably would still have maybe booked Jimmy to have turned on Jay, but just it would have looked a lot different. Number one, don't violate your own rule when you say, which they did on their website, that there's no interference until the match is over. Don't book any interference until the match is over.
Yep.
And we've seen wonderful story beats throughout these Bloodline matches that really heighten the drama. And to me, this one just fell flat. And I think there was a way to do it that would have heightened the drama. Jimmy comes out. You think that he's going to help Jay.
Exactly.
Maybe super kick Solo because he kind of doesn't like Solo.
Exactly.
And everybody thinks, oh, he's the guy who's going to neutralize Solo. No. No, he's there because, he doesn't like that Jay was going after a title in the Ulafala, as soon as he was put in the hospital.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
So there you go.
Let's talk about someone coming back to WWE.
Oh, yeah.
Reported over the weekend by PW Insider that Kyrie Sane, former women's tag champ, had agreed to a deal to return to WWE. Shortly thereafter, Kyrie announced on Twitter that she'd be holding a press conference today where she announced this translation comes from our friend of the show, Karen Peterson. Karen's awesome.
Oh, yeah, Karen's the best.
That's what Kyrie had to say. Quote, I have made a decision about what is next for me. At this time, I cannot speak in concrete details, but in preparation for this new voyage, one of great determination, I have decided to put a halt on all activities and go on indefinite hiatus starting at the end of September 2023. I'd like to assure you that this is a positive choice. So she also, I believe, appeared at the All Japan Pro Wrestling show over the weekend. She's going to have a match there with that promotion September 8th, I think it is.
Okay.
And then it seems like going to take leave, and maybe later this year, if PW Insider's reports be believed, return to WWE.
Karen is here in our YouTube chat. What's up, Karen?
Hi, Karen.
Hi, Karen. No, this is great. I so much of her first run, especially in NXT, was a delight. I really love the team of her and Asuka. I thought they were absolutely terrific together. They had so much fun.
Yep.
I do kind of wonder, you got to wonder, especially with Vince, and who knows how much the Vince aspect, played into this. I don't know. I'm assuming a lot of people are probably going to assume that he's going to be around, and that'll still be a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But regardless of the reason, I think it's awesome. Love to see her back on my television. I know that she's been plenty prominent in Stardom and everything, but like I don't really have time in the schedule to check that out. So if you're not on WWE or AEW, chances are I'm not going to see you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome. It kind of feels like Kyrie's run on the main roster. There's a lot more they could have done.
Tons more
with her character.
Should have done, yeah.
Should have done. I mean, her and Asuka, a lot of fun as a tag team, but it felt like just the start of some major things before she left. So if the idea that now with Triple H booking creative, she comes back, they book her to her fullest potential. And she goes on an awesome run, starts winning a bunch of championships. That's great because she's a fantastic wrestler.
Yeah.
And hopefully, if she comes back, creative has good stuff for her.
Yeah. No, absolutely. That'd be good. We got a super chat here from I'm Torch. Says, what do you do with the Profits? I don't want them to only be booked in the tag division. I need that Montez single push while in this new faction. We're going to talk about that here in just a moment as we talk about SmackDown. But wanted to make this point real quick. We've got bonus episodes, question threads, and of course our huge predictions challenges right now. Click join on the YouTube, patreon.com/Steven Larson. You can do it there as well. Become part of the Friendo Club, help support Going in Raw. And yeah, man. So we've got a new Big Blue predictions challenge.
We do.
I know I sent it to you, so Twitch chat has already seen it. Yes. YouTube chat, or our YouTubers. Here he is, John Fear and Loathing, our new Big Blue predictions champion. He sent me this picture. It's the deal is whatever picture you want to use, as long as it's appropriate to show on the air.
Yes,
I'll toss Big Blue on that picture. He wanted Chris. This is not John Fear and Loathing in the picture. This is clearly Christian Cage,
future Going in Raw Hall of Famer Christian.
From All Elite Wrestling. And he's got the Big Blue right there, but that's what John Fear and Loathing asked of us. So you can get whatever picture you want. If you win the predictions challenge, of course, Flannelly Dan's still out there with the Money in the Bank briefcase and Larson. How crestfallen are you that in our huge G1 predictions challenge, you have fallen? Now you're one of many in second place.
Only a point behind the leader. There's still plenty of matches. I still have the opportunity to pull ahead if I'm going to, which is not a given. Need a lot of things to go my way. Here's the thing: still within striking distance down towards the end. It's I can't complain whatsoever about my position. Again, much like Money in the Bank, whoever wins this G1's predictions challenge will have essentially a Money in the Bank briefcase in their back pocket to cash in a future predictions challenge.
Now that you've fallen off so hard, do you know what your are you going to change your strategy going into the next event?
I think of the two of us, the person who should probably consider changing their strategy is you, because you're well behind the leader.
Yeah, I'm not even close. Doing pretty bad, not gonna lie.
Although you did make a bit of a jump over the weekend, so.
Oh, did I? I didn't notice.
I think you're 10 points behind the leader now.
My strategy was terrible. Not account for any upsets at all. Yeah, it's bad strategy on my part. But yeah. The prediction challenges are a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And we got a lot of people participating in them. So you can check that out. Our bonus episodes are going back for a brief period of time. We're going to try to do them on Mondays. They're back to Fridays now.
Back to Fridays.
So yeah, they're going to be on Fridays, and you can get the bonus episodes. You can get all the question threads, and of course you can get the access to the big predictions challenges, which of course, dude, the next one coming up. Oh man. It's not
massive.
So we've had the weekend of champions. Now it's the week of champions. Explain to the people what the week of champions
is. It's going to start with All In, August 27th. That's the first event. And of course, the following weekend we got, I think it's Payback.
Yeah, it's Payback, yeah.
On September 2nd. Then the following day, All Out, September 3rd. Rather than doing some advantage stuff we're just doing all one extravaganza.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So it's going to be huge. It's going to be massive.
Huge.
We have a lot of points involved. A lot of opportunities for people to fall behind and come back.
Ooh.
Could have a cash-in.
We could have a cash-in as well. Yeah, exactly. So this is all good stuff. So join us for that. All right, man. What do you want to talk about first?
I guess we could talk about Collision.
Okay.
We can get into that. There was some really good wrestling on Collision. We had Ricky Starks challenge CM Punk for the Real World's Championship.
Yeah.
Had a really fun match between FTR. Big Bill is doing amazing work.
Oh man, he's great. He's always been great.
Ever since he came back, he was an Impact for a stretch, doing awesome creative work both as a heel and as a face. He hasn't been on AEW TV
Not nearly
a whole
enough,
lot.
Yeah.
But seeing him and Brian Cage having a great match with FTR, seeing his character work,
Yeah.
was awesome. I miss Big Bill.
Yeah. No, it's great to see that.
Let's talk about this because we have a couple matches potentially in the works for All In Wembley at the conclusion of the tag title match. FTR challenge the Young Bucks
Yeah.
to AEW tag title match at All In. Young Bucks have a match against the Hardys on Dynamite. I would guess they'll probably win that. They'll probably answer FTR's challenge then.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll be an affirmative.
Yeah.
That's pretty huge. That's the match that, especially when FTR had a bunch of tag titles at the time, and if the Young Bucks had the AEW tag titles, there might have been a moment where those two things overlapped. You could have had a unification bout, main event, a pay-per-view at that juncture.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
With that much on the line. Now, there's just the AEW Tag Team Championships on the line. It's probably not going to main event considering MJF and Adam Cole are going to.
Yeah, right.
But as tag team matches goes, I know we've seen two of them. This is the rubber match. It's still pretty huge.
No, I think the thing that's on everybody's mind is like, okay, well, FTR is closely aligned with CM Punk. We know there's some issues there with CM Punk and the rest of the Elite. FTR Dax specifically, I think on his podcast, was publicly advocating for the Elite versus CM FTR at Wembley. Well, we're getting close to it. We've got the Young Bucks versus FTR. Great to see that the Young Bucks are willing to work with FTR and vice versa. They're 1-1. This is the rubber match. How does this go? Who wins this match?
This is going to be a real test to see who's got some serious sway in AEW, don't you think, Steve?
Well, the Young Bucks. Okay, do you think it's going to come down to that? Okay, number one, who should win this match?
I'll say this. If the House of Black are staying on Collision, as seems to be the case, full-time as Trios champion, then I think Dynamite should get the tag championships.
That's a good point. But there's nothing saying that. I know that FTR are like primarily on Collision, but I don't think anybody is like, if they're cool working with the Young Bucks. Nothing saying that FTR can't go to Dynamite.
Oh, totally. I know. I'm just saying because Malachi has said that he wants House of Black to be exclusive.
He wants them
on Collision.
Exclusively on there, and that's a good point. Yeah.
And I know a CMFTR has a trios title match next week against House of Black.
Yeah.
I'd be kind of surprised if they won, but I wouldn't be shocked. If the trios titles are staying on Collision for the most part, so the tag titles, it's Dynamite,
which would mean the Young Bucks because they're not going to go to Collision. I think you're probably right. I mean, it is still called All Elite Wrestling. They did just sign a big contract, a big extension, or a new contract, whatever it is. They re-signed. Somebody here in our, who is this? White Brownie says, should go to a draw. Please don't do that. Don't do that shit. Don't cop out. That's called a cop out is what that is.
Steve, you could do definitive winner.
I do. They could run it back again,
sure.
and go 2-2,
Totally. Just over the next, length of this deal, let's do like essentially a best of 7, unofficial best of 7.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of with you, man. Have the Young Bucks pick up those titles. If Punk's gonna get his Red Sack title out and be the real world's champion, then take those titles off FTR, put them on the Young Bucks, and see what you can do with them.
Exactly.
Also
seemingly in the works. No mention if this will be for the Real World's Championship, but now that CM Punk has successfully defended that title against Ricky Starks, Samoa Joe calls out Punk for a match at Wembley, saying a roll-up finish is not satisfying for him, considering the legacy they have built together.
I agree.
He wants a definitive winner.
Yeah.
None of this roll-up nonsense. Either a GTS pin or a Muscle Buster pin.
Yeah. He's totally gonna eat a GTS then.
Yeah, I know it's gonna be a bummer, ain't it?
It is gonna be a big bummer. I love Samoa Joe. I think he's like one of my favorites.
Absolutely.
But so I'll be firmly rooting for Samoa Joe, the current Ring of Honor, the king of television, of course.
Yeah. Yes.
You know,
Our benevolent king.
Our benevolent king.
Indeed.
What's his name in Twisted Metal?
Sweet Tooth.
Sweet Tooth. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a big match. That's gonna be a really, really good match. That's gonna be a good one.
It will be. It'll be heartbreaking when Joe loses. Let me ask you this. So the main event,
sure.
CM Punk, Ricky Starks for Real World Championship.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. It was a fun match.
Man, Punk almost didn't make it out of that match too. Woo, boy, that one spot where he comes off the top. What's it up with everybody in the top rope these days? My goodness.
I know. They do this on Collision where they have like the 25, 30-minute main event. And a lot of the times, and I think Saturdays included, kind of feels like it didn't necessarily need to be a 25 or 30-minute main event. Like, give me a good 15-minute TV match, and I'm happy.
Yeah, no.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Nobody was watching this shit. Everybody was watching SummerSlam. I think the overnights came out or something like that. It was like a 50% drop from the week before in the viewership, which I know it doesn't matter. Like, book your show, do the best you can. I agree with you. This match was endless. It was so long. It was really, really long. And I don't think it really, I don't equate, as people know now from my match ratings, I do not equate length of time. The longer is not the better. And you know, I thought it was a really good match. I think maybe a bit more efficient would have been probably better, though. I like the work that CM Punk is doing these days, you know, with the crowd still not being firmly on board CM Punk's train, you know, him sort of trolling him a little bit, doing the Hogan stuff and the leg drop and all that. I like that. There was a lot to really like about the match. But yeah,
I guess the point I was getting at is you could, you know, shave 12 minutes off that match.
Yeah.
Give us another women's match. Mercedes Martinez versus Chris Statlander was really good.
It was really good. And I went, man, you know, given that they do seem to be exercising their stroke in sort of taking the creative, you know, on with Collision, whether it's Punk, Danielson, FTR, whoever. Wouldn't it be? It'd be kind of a shot, right? If they were like, "Hey, Tony, we're gonna book 2 women's matches on the show going forward. You know, we're gonna book Hobbs in a prominent spot on the show. We're gonna do the things successfully that people are griping about. I mean, even this week with Mercedes Martinez and Chris Statlander, longer match, angle set up afterwards, and then straight into a Tony Storm interview, which was
fantastic,
awesome. Which was great.
Fantastic. It was like she was in Sunset Boulevard.
Yeah, I know. It was awesome.
It was so good.
It was. I did not expect to see. I saw this on Twitter. I did not expect to see failed 1950s actress Tony Storm cut a promo.
Oh, it was so good.
On Collision. It was good. But you know, man, if they use their pull and give us what we don't get on Dynamite, if that's the point, give us a couple more women's matches per week. You know. Push some of the stories. Push some of the wrestlers that you don't normally see pushed on the show, and show how it could be done. So, yeah, it'd be nice.
Step up to the plate, Phil. Come on.
Step up to the plate, Phil. Come on now. Anyways, we can jump into it. Show opened up with customary cold open promos. We got one from CM Punk, from Ricky Starks, hyping up their main event, and then we had Prince Nana with Big Bill and Brian Cage, hyping up the tag match against FTR, and that's what kicked off the show after Saturday. We got Big Bill, Brian Cage, FTR. Man, I can't say enough about how entertaining Big Bill was during this match. In-ring work. Yeah,
because like Cash's mom was sitting ringside, and he was over there dancing in front of her. She slapped him. Like, he was just drawing tons of heat.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Yeah.
It was great. The bit where he choke slams Dax on Cash.
Ooh,
great.
Yeah.
Great. More Big Bill, please.
Yeah, agreed.
Anyways, they lost.
Yes.
Brian Cage ate a shatter machine from FTR after Cash pushes Cage into Bill, which knocks him off the apron to the floor. And then afterwards, FTR drops a promo. Dax says, we're going to get a little bit of trouble tonight, but we're in the Carolinas. We're going to do things differently here. 10 years ago, we started Legacy. Talked about being the greatest tag team of all time. I think through every promotion we've been through, we've been champs 10 times over to complete the legacy. To be known as the greatest tag team of all time. He talked about the Briscoes trilogy, the 2 out of 3 falls match, so on and so forth. Says beating those two big bastards, Bill and Cage, that was incredible. But there's one thing we got to do. One thing left for FTR to do. And Cash says, Young Bucks. Said we had unfinished business. How about we finish it at Wembley Stadium? And Dax says, 80,000 strong, FTR, Young Bucks, rubber match. Who is the greatest tag team of all time? Top guys out.
Yeah. Then we had a video package for CM Punk and Ricky Starks, followed by a Juice Robinson interview. He, of course, was still carrying his Jay White cardboard cutout, which is not leaving the faction, even though Jay White was back this week. Oh, that's so good.
You can tell those guys are having so much fun.
I know. It's like it's up there with the top Bullet Club factions, in my opinion, man.
Really is.
Because I don't know what's going on right now in New Japan. Although I did like the Finley Kingston stuff that I saw from the G1 with the chops and Kingston
the rapid fire chops. Yeah,
that was good. So, anyways, Tony asked Tony Tony had a good week this week too.
Yeah,
because he had a lot to deal with. So he's like, what's up with the Jay White cutout? And she says, when you're hot, you're hot, and when you're not, you're not. And right now, the Bang Bang Gang is hotter than hell. And then Jay White comes in, smacks over Cardblade, and says, Metalik. That's exactly what's going to happen to you tonight. And Tony, I don't have too much to say to you with that dumb look on your face, but I know two guys who know a thing or two about commentary. No longer are they ass boys. They're a couple of top guns. And that brings Austin and Colton in. Colton is getting huge, by the way.
Yeah, he is.
And they got some commentary headsets on. And so they do some fake commentary, and they mock Tony a little bit. Jay steps back in and says, when the Bang Bang Gang is having fun, it's not fun for others. Guns up. And then they make Shivani join in with the guns too.
It was so good.
He has no desire to, but they come on, Tony, guns up. So he puts guns
so
up.
Much fun. You can tell they're having a blast. It's great.
Yeah.
Then we got Mercedes Martinez versus Chris Statlander for the TBS Championship. As mentioned earlier, this match was tons of fun.
Yeah.
Mercedes, that spider suplex off the top.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Ow.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that. I'll be honest with you. Not a fan. It looks too bad. It looks like it hurts too much.
It does look like it hurts. It does. I get
Don't like it. Don't like it.
All right. Noted.
Should be a finish, if anything.
I know. Statlander then follows with the Fisherman Buster, gets a 2 there, and then Mercedes is looking for a forearm to Statlander's back. Chris ducks it, rolls up Mercedes for the win. Well, then Mercedes blasts Statlander from behind once the bell rings. Diamante comes to the ring. Is she there to make the save to help Statlander? Nah. He starts attacking Statlander too, and then Willow runs to the ring to chase off Mercedes and Diamante.
Yep. After that, we had that awesome Tony Storm interview.
So
Shivani introduced the former champ. She says, former, I can handle that. I'm standing here naked as the day I was born, but I'm a professional. Don't worry, I'm not going to freak out like you think I'm going to. But let me ask you, so Tony, am I just not a star anymore? Am I just not talented like I was? What is it, Tony? Am I not enough for you or something? Come on, look at me. Look at the state of me. Do you really think this is what's right for me? No, it's not. I'm the illustrious Tony Storm, damn it. Well known, respected, admired all over the world for everything I've done. This is not right. This interview is over, so now you can shut up.
And then she leaves, and Tony finishes up, and you hear Tony Storm say off camera, "Shut up, Shivani." It was so good.
I'll be honest. You can sort of get rid of the outcasts if this is the Tony Storm we're gonna get. I'm a complete character shift, whatever. This is hilarious. This is awesome.
This is great. I didn't watch Rampage, but I did see the bit where Statlander was squatting Renee Paquette.
That was awesome.
Doing an interview.
Yeah.
That's like stuff like that. It's not a huge thing, but it's an opportunity for people to showcase who they are.
When you let people have fun with their characters, and more importantly, know who their characters are, then it makes a world of difference. It really does.
It really does. It really does. Next up, you got Samoa Joe versus Serpentico. This match lasted about as long as it took me to say what the match was. One slam from Joe, locked on the clutch. Serpentico taps. Joe grabs the mic, says, "Greenville, my name is Samoa Joe. You're one true king of television. It seems your benevolent king has a problem. In fact, a few. First one being soon at a sold-out Wembley, we go all in, and your king has nobody to dance with. And that leads into our second problem. I enjoy a very exclusive luxury in my career, while a certain real-world champion was traveling around the world telling all you simple people he was the best in the world. I do in my heart. He was never better than me a day in his life. But recently, I lost that luxury at the Ode tournament. But it's not that I lost it, it's how I lost it. Because you see, me and this so-called real-world champion battled for over 3 hours in this ring. Our legacies were built with the blood, sweat, and tears of each other, and the pain we put each other through. And damn it, a roll-up is not good enough for our legacy. So I come here, champ, and come here as a courtesy to ask you to give me what I want. to ask you to give these people what they want, to ask you to give our legacy what it deserves, you and me, with the eyes of the world upon us, giving these people everything that we have. But know this, champ. My courtesy only extends to this week. If you make me wait next week, you best believe I'm going to convince your ass. Punk.
I hope Punk makes him wait.
I do too, because I want to see Punk get choked out.
Get choked out.
We know I ain't going to see that in London, so give it to us beforehand.
Yeah,
please.
I know. Maggie, our champion, re-up for 6 months on the YouTube membership, says, smack that like button. Hey, man, if you guys are watching live or you're watching on demand a little bit later, do us a favor, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and the notify bell. Thank you so much, Maggie, for your membership and all your gifted subs and your gifted memberships and just being an awesome person.
Exactly. Maggie is our champion.
Spencer Trainer here with the $10 super chat. Says, I'm the biggest Kyrie fan, but I'm very worried about her going back to WWE. This run has been her best run ever. Triple H rehires don't have a good track record. No lie there. No lie there.
Yeah.
Got to be careful with that.
That's true.
Yep.
That's true.
Well, we'll hope for the best here.
Exactly. Next up, we had an Andrade video package, kind of ladder match recap, talking about getting his mask back.
Yeah.
And after that, we had an Acclaimed interview. So it's a sit-down deal with Shivani.
Oh, this was really good too, man.
It was really good. Bowens is fantastic.
He's awesome. He's really
great. Really good.
Yeah.
So Bowens has Billy's boots kind of under the chair, and then Shivani, says, "Have you guys spoken to Billy?"
Mm-hmm.
And Bowen says, "We have. We spoke to him over the weekend. We tried to give him his boot back. So at this point, he has Billy's boots pretty much on his lap."
Mm-hmm.
But he said he wouldn't take them. He's pretty firm in his decision, that is to officially retire. So Shivani asks if Billy told them why, and Bowen says he kept saying that it was his fault that we lost the tag titles, and that Malachi pinned him twice in a row, and he feels like he's lost a step in high-pressure scenarios, which I disagree. But it is what it is at this point. So Tony asks them where they go from here, and Caster says, I want to respect Billy's decision. If he's done, he's done. But he's given us so much. He helped us win the tag titles. In my opinion, we are the best trios in AEW. Bowens follows up on that, says we had a lot of unfinished business with Billy as a trios. We promised the man that we bring him back to the top of the trios division, and he thinks he failed us, but maybe we failed him. And he's tearing up while saying this.
Yeah.
Says, Billy, I hope you're watching this because you've meant so much to Max and I, because we were two people who were trying to find ourselves on this roster to prove that we were elite, and you were the one person who believed in us. It's because of you that we got to call ourselves champions. So we're going to miss you. We're going to go out there every week with these boots for you. I just hope you know how much everyone, the fans, Max and I, how much they love you, how much we love you. So one more time, if you can throw them up the scissors while you're on the couch, scissor me, daddy ass.
So they're just going to walk out there with his boots every week.
Yeah.
That's a bit much. Is there like a window of time they're going to do this before? Because it's a bit much. Like, it's like going to the WWE event. That one time Alto, very nice of him, gifted us the big gold title. And then we just had to carry it the entire rest of the day.
Yeah.
So now it's like, oh man, I don't have a lot of room in my suitcase for his boots. Do you have some room in your suitcase for his boots?
Like, now we got to have a separate suitcase just for his boots.
I mean, a boot case. Yeah. So like, hopefully it's like a couple weeks, and then like, if he doesn't come back, it's like, okay, well, we'll put him,
we'll do one boot then.
One boot, and then if he still doesn't come back, a picture of the boots.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Just carry them around the whole time. I mean, look, they were fine without him. They'll be fine. Before he came around, they'll be fine without him this time. Then we had House of Black versus Action Andretti, Darius Martin and Lee Johnson in a House of Black rules match. The stipulation for this was Julia Hart's banned at ringside.
Yeah. Didn't matter much for Action, Darius, and Lee Johnson because House of Black still won. But it was competitive, and it was a lot of fun.
It was cool. AR Fox has got to be pretty happy because he 100% would have been in this match if Swerve didn't pick him up.
That's true.
That's true. I'm like, man, I'm just looking forward to seeing more AR Fox this week, man. Him and Swerve are dangerous. Goddamn. Yes.
Oh, I know. It's so much fun. They're so good.
He was like on Rampage. He came out and he was wearing like the blood-soaked shirt
he had
from the Nick Wayne
the
thing.
blood-soaked shirt from the Nick Wayne bit. That's so good.
Cool. Yeah, that was cool.
Those little details matter a lot. He should just wear that same shirt all the time.
Oh, it's at a certain point, Swerve's got to be like, okay, dude, we get the point, but it stinks really bad now. Really smells.
I know, but from a visual of him wearing that one shirt that's just covered in everybody's blood.
Maybe he can get like an all-over print
Yeah,
shirt
I guess
that shirt.
That's a good compromise.
Right, exactly.
It's a good compromise.
Like, it just looks like that.
That's fine.
Anyways, House of Black fucking murdered these guys. It was great.
Yeah, in the end, it was pretty much a destruction. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ends up with Brody King hitting a massive clothesline on Darius Martin to get the win, and that's when it was announced that CMFTR are taking on House of Black next week in what will surely be a 35-minute main event for the trios titles.
Yeah. Let's see here. After that, we had a Powerhouse Hobbs interview. God damn, dude. Talk about, it's always people who just need to fuck off, right? With AEW. It's like Dark Order, fuck off. I forget what was the last one that needed to fuck off. I forget who it was. Somebody else needed to fuck off.
Roderick Strong?
Roderick Strong needs to fuck off. Yeah, exactly.
No one needs to fuck off more in AEW than QT Marshall in this instance.
He needs to fuck off the most.
Yes. Jericho Appreciation Society, John.
Oh, they need to fuck off. Yeah. QT needs to fuck off in front of him behind the camera. Anyways, he steps in before. Because when he's behind the camera, he keeps on insisting that he's on camera. Get out of here.
True.
So anyways, QT steps up before Tony can ask Hobbs a question. He tells Schiavone to beat feet. Hobbs is like, what do you want? And QT's like, I told you I'd make this right. First thing, I came bearing gifts. The finest Cuban links money can buy. It's a big old gold chain. So the second, an opportunity. Think about it now. Chicago, all out, where Collision started. Powerhouse Hobbs gets the biggest victory of his career. I'm handing you the biggest win of your career on a silver platter. He doesn't even mention like what the match would be, though.
What would it be?
I was like, is it like an international title shot or a TNT title shot? I don't know.
Anyways. Well, neither of those would qualify, I think. Like you're talking, the most prominent win of your career. I'm thinking like world title.
Yeah, well, to this point, but then he's already won like the TNT title.
He's won the TNT title.
So I don't know what it would be.
I think the
WWE Universal Championship. Yeah.
Maybe the TNT title, I think in theory, is supposed to be above the international title.
I don't know that it is anymore, though.
I mean, I don't think it is in the eyes of the fans because the international title is defended all the time.
Yeah, right. So Hobbs doesn't really care. He's like, I don't need your help. Damn sure. He says, I don't want your help, and I damn sure don't need your help. Thanks for the gold, though. He takes the Cuban links, and he beats feet out of there.
He does.
Yeah, this is never ending, though. QT's going to show up next time.
I know. Hobbs just needs to powerbomb him. Hit him with Spinebuster or 5.
Right, exactly.
Yep,
yeah.
That'll be that.
Yeah.
Done with it.
Yep.
Thank you, Cultaholic, for the raid. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Cultaholic. Terrific, those Cultaholic boys.
Indeed. Let's talk about this. We had this great Christian interview.
Oh, this was awesome.
This was so good.
So good, man.
So he's standing there. Luchasaurus is behind him. He's got the TNT title over his shoulder, and he has his daughter with him. And he says, this is my child, my own flesh and blood. People are probably wondering why I brought my child to Collision. It's very simple, to prove a point. That is, as a TNT champ, the face of TNT, I realize I'm a role model for children all over the world, not just my own child. What's really annoying me lately is looking at a guy like Darby Allin. Seems to be mentoring an 18-year-old snot-nosed punk kid that has no business being in AEW, much less stepping foot inside my ring. And so his daughter reaches up and grabs the TNT title.
Yeah.
And Christian just looks at her and goes, yes. And she says, can I hold your belt? And he replies, did you win this belt? You did not win this belt. Nobody touches this title but me. Go find your mother. Go. And so she leaves. And he's looking off camera still. And he goes, security. She's not credentialed. Remove her from the arena. He turns back to Schiavone. He goes, I'm the TNT champ now and forever. Do you understand me?
That was good.
It was so good.
I was crying laughing, man. That was awesome. Go find your mother. Go. Security. She's not credentialed.
Gosh, that was so good.
Yeah. After that, we had Metalik versus Jay White. We had the Guns on commentary with Cardblade. And Jay White gets a win here with a Blade Runner. And then the Guns and Juice get into the ring. Juice is doing some push-ups for Metalik. Austin leaps out of the ring to bring Cardblade in, and Jay White poses with the cardboard Jay White.
It was fun stuff.
Yeah,
they're having a blast, and that really translates. They're gonna be massive soon.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
super massive. Over. Next, we had an Anna Jay promo promoting her match against Hikaru Shida on Dynamite. She says, "First time I stepped in the AEW ring was against you, Shida. You beat me. Second time we faced off was when you were champion. You beat me again. I was a rookie both times, but unlucky for you, Shida, I'm a rookie no more. I got a big win over Sky Blue on Wednesday. Got a lot on my plate. Got the mandatory beating with JAS. I'm going to beat you for the AEW Women's Championship."
Yep. And then we had Ricky Starks versus CM Punk with special guest ref Ricky Steamboat. I thought the meat of this match was like fine. There were some clunky spots here and there. It was long, like you said. Couldn't stand the finish. The finish was stupid. It was terrible. So there was a ref bump. And, of course, Ricky Steamboat's on the outside as backup ref, basically.
Special enforcer, yeah.
So there's a ref bump. And Ricky Starks goes for a cheat pin knowing there's no ref in the ring.
Yeah.
So there's nobody to count. So instead of like doing a low blow, like maybe while Ricky is checking on the ref, Ricky Steamboat's checking on the ref, he can low blow Punk. And then when Steamboat gets in there and there's somebody to count, he then goes for the cheap pin. But it was weird, right?
It was because it was like in full view of Steamboat. They did the pin with his feet on the ropes.
Right.
Full view.
Yeah.
And so Steamboat just comes by and knocks his feet off the ropes.
And Ricky's acting surprised.
Like, what are you doing? Like, Steamboat's doing his job. That's what he's supposed to do. Call it right down the middle.
Right. Like, did he think that like there was no? Be one thing if like he acted like he struck a deal with him beforehand or something.
Yeah.
Like he was in his he was in his pocket or something. But like
yeah.
Because
there was a couple instances. No, I didn't either. A couple instances of the match, including one where Punk had full mount on Ricky Starks, hitting him with ground and pound on the floor outside. And Steamboat's like, Punk, you got to get this back in the ring. You can't be doing this out here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. Yeah.
That worked against Punk. So it wasn't like it was a situation where Steamboat was biased against one competitor over the other. But anyways, yeah. So then Starks is arguing with Steamboat, and then CM Punk just rolls him up, and Steamboat kind of takes his time getting into the ring and counts the pinfall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I know it wasn't that great of a finish. So then Starks is pissed off, so Steamboat hands Punk the belt, and then Starks pushes Steamboat into Punk, so Punk falls off the apron onto the floor, and then Starks gets Steamboat's belt and starts hitting him with his belt.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually Phil gets back in the ring with the chair and chases off Ricky.
I like that he was primarily just to make sure that he doesn't actually hurt Steamboat. He's just hitting him on his butt.
Yeah.
No, it was a terrific match, and I feel like just a couple tweaks in the finish there probably could have been a bit more satisfying, but it really didn't make a lick of sense.
No, not a ton. No.
Yeah.
No. Starks just came off as, I know how to do one thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Which is, do a cheating roll-up type deal.
Yeah. A couple new channel members here, Jeremy Speedling and Killer Whale Pops. Thank you very much for your memberships. Now they get access to the Predictions Challenge. They also got access to the questions threads and the bonus episodes. Yeah.
Indeed.
Anyways, let's talk about SmackDown. We got ourselves a new faction. Of course, we had seen this coming, but we got to see like them in action, sort of.
Oh, man.
The Profits and Bobby Lashley.
Steve, I got one quibble with your thumbnail. Usually I don't say anything about your thumbnails. They're great.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Should have done is that picture you posted on our Instagram with them with all the belts.
Dude, I had thought about that.
That's what should have been used for the
I'd thought about that. Yeah.
That's the future we need.
I know, and I understand the idea of like manifesting it. I put it out there. It's a very popular picture on Twitter right now and in our Instagram. But honestly, it came down to I had Roman on one side. I had the new Street Profits Lashley thing on the other side, and I had to do the thing where I had to cut. It's actually a faked picture because I had to take. It was they were standing too far apart, so I had to I had image select and then put them a little bit closer together, doing that with all the titles, But I don't know. Maybe if I have time today, I'll still fix it. I could do that. It might also just confuse people.
It could, but also like one story could like, when will it end? When Lashley takes it from Roman.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, what was really awesome, the Street Profits have been cold for a little while. They have not been given anything to do besides lose. There was, back when Vince was in charge, there was like a tease that they were going to break up. That didn't happen. And so they've just been sort of spinning the wheels. I'll be interested to see what the backstage process was, who pitched this, what the deal was. We'll find out what the plan is. But what I loved about it is simply, it's a simple formula. You have people do cool shit. People are pop for it. But that crowd went crazy for Bobby.
They went crazy for the Street Profits when they were beating up the Brutes and
Good
did. Brothers.
They were really into it, which is awesome to see. I think people just want. It's like, man, these guys are so damn entertaining. They're so good. Can you do something with them? And I think when people get the idea that, they're going to do something with them, they pop big.
Yeah. The reaction for Lashley when he came out to the ramp,
it was unreal.
The Profits, was huge.
It was
massive.
Huge. Yeah, it was great. And my favorite part about it, because I love seeing this stuff, is that's why it doesn't bother me when you see matches where people are calling spots. It does not bother me at all. I will not deduct any stars for that.
No, I won't either. I don't care about that.
When Lashley showed up, it was the veteran. It was the veteran thing to do. Profit's been around for a while, but Lashley's the veteran. He shows up, and they both greet him, and he shakes each of their hands, and you can see him say, "Big smiles, guys, big smiles." And they both put big smiles on their faces. Yeah. And I don't know exactly why, he didn't want them, I guess, mean mugging or something like that. I don't know, doing mad faces, but big smiles, everybody. And I wonder if there's going to be a general presentation change for them, obviously with Dawkins wearing suits.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see with that knowledge, big smiles, guys, what that portends for what this new faction is going to be. I mean, obviously, because Lashley was in a previous faction referred to as the Hurt Business, people are saying it was 2.0. It doesn't seem like it's going to be that. I don't know if they're going to have – I hope they have a name because the name sells T-shirts, and that makes more money for them, and it gives something people to grasp onto.
Yep.
But remains to be seen. Is it going to be – the name is going to be an amalgam of the Street Profits and Hurt Business or the Almighty Profits, something like that. I don't know. But I'm excited for it. The people are excited for it.
Heck yeah.
Lashley's a player again. I love to see that. I mean, the idea of – I have no idea what iteration of the Bloodline. I mean, maybe Jimmy and Solo would be the two guys taking on the Profits and Roman versus Lashley. But that's an instant feud that could, be if sticking to strictly Bloodline on Bloodline feuds is getting old, you got to bring in some new.
Yep.
And Lashley could be the thing.
Yep.
You play your cards. Yeah, look, man, honestly, you play your cards right. Maybe it's not Cody at Mania. Maybe it's Lashley at Mania. That could make a lot of sense too.
Yeah. What I'm hoping is that it's not necessarily a situation where it's all right, because, they hit the ring, they beat up the Brutes, faces, Good Brothers, faces, I think. No, they're hardly on TV. I think AJ's a face, though.
I think they're all supposed to be faces.
Yeah. They come out and beat up two face tag teams, but didn't necessarily feel like, hey, we're heels.
I didn't see it as a heel turn. No, I did not see it that way.
We're making a statement. We're tired of not being utilized. We're making a statement.
Yeah.
And Lashley comes to the ramp, and you could tell he's ecstatic.
Oh, big time.
About how it all went.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you not be? The attack was great. The crowd reaction was fantastic. His reaction was like the crowd's reaction to him was fantastic.
Yeah.
You just have them come out and do cool stuff. Don't necessarily put them anywhere in the healed face thing.
Yeah.
Just have them come out and do awesome stuff, and they'll get over.
This might actually be it. Mr. Dope here has it here. I'm sorry. I should call him by his actual name now. Mr. White Folding Chair Dope. In the chat here says, my guess is they were supposed to get boos because it was a heel move versus faces, but the crowd loved it, so they switched to plan B, all smiles.
Could be.
That could very well be. If they get boos, they're going to mean mug. If they get the cheers, Lashley go out there, do smiles. That could very well be. That's astute. Yeah.
That could be. Definitely could be. Anyways, excited to see more. Be interesting to see if Lashley, Street Profits, or all three show up on NXT, considering that Lashley spoke with Trick and Mello.
Yeah.
I know Trick just said on NXT that he's looking to do his own thing now, but doesn't mean he can't do his own thing while part of this faction.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. No, I think, and we see that also with, there's another faction that went over to a different,
Judgment Day's been in NXT quite a bit.
Yeah. Oh, no, I was thinking of AEW. I was thinking because Prince Nana was there with Cage and Bill on Collision, but then Swerve and AR Fox. But, I mean, Swerve has been on Collision before, so I don't know how that's going to, Anyways, so, I love the idea. I love the idea of having, the Almighty Profits on main roster and then, an offshoot of them with Trick Mello. But then Trick
Have
and
some
Mello
members on
breaking
Raw
up.
too.
Trick Mello are breaking up though.
Yeah, I know.
Which was a great segment on NXT. I watched that a couple times.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just feels real. I love when I love when that shit happens.
Yeah. It's great when you have people who were a duo. It's not like, hey, we need to have a feud to break up.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You got one dude who's a champion, one guy who's like, all right, I'm ready to start succeeding on my own now.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely.
And it's amicable, and it's like, all right, I get it. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. Yeah. So SmackDown kicked off with LA Knight versus Sheamus. Of course, this was all to build to the Slim Jim Battle Royal. So Slim Jim Battle Royal participants came out, and LA Knight ended up getting the win thanks to a bit of a distraction from Miz. I mean, distraction. He ate a bro kick on the apron, and then a what was it? A billionaire finger trap? Was that what it was?
Billionaire finger trap to Sheamus for the win. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Cross gets in the ring. Knight throws him out, and then he rolls out of the ring.
Yeah, because Cross and Miz get back in, so they kind of chase him off. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, yeah. So during all that, there was some stuff between the Brutes and the OC backstage. They're still going at it, and Pierce is like, "Hey, the four of you, Pete Dunne and the other and Ridge, take on the Good Brothers. Go out to the ring and do that, and you have AJ and Sheamus facing off. That could be a really fun feud. That Sheamus and AJ, that could be good stuff fun. Right there. Yeah.
Then we got that Brock Cody video package that Steve loves. Seen it like 5 times over the last week.
I know. I can watch it 5 more times.
You can watch it 5 more times.
Oh, absolutely.
Then we got Brawling Brutes versus Good Brothers. This match didn't last very long until Street Profits rush the ring and start laying out everybody.
Mm-hmm, yeah,
Crowd goes crazy. Yeah. Clear the ring. They walk up the ramp, and that's when Lashley meets them there. Huge pop. Bobby chants. Awesome. Great start.
It was great stuff.
Great start.
All smiles.
Awesome.
After that, we had Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous with Charlotte Flair. Did you watch that when you were a kid?
Yeah.
Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous? Yeah,
it was was it on Sundays?
In
my mind, every kid I watched
as
a kid was on Sunday nights.
Oh, Sunday nights, really? Okay.
Yeah. So I remember, like, I'm pretty sure Murder, She Wrote was on Sunday nights.
That sounds right.
I feel like Ripley's Believe It or Not was on Sunday nights.
Okay. What about
It's
Matlock?
in my mind as a kid, every show I watched in the evening hours was on Sunday nights.
Except for Cheers, which was on Thursdays.
Yeah.
Did you watch Cheers as a kid?
It wasn't until I was a bit older.
That show was so slick. Like, you go back and watch the first episode, it's funny as shit. It really is. Like, they were so clever. Yeah. Anyways, Charlotte Flair on a yacht. That show. This was a really well done video package.
It was really well done. It really was.
Yeah,
it was. She's talking about SummerSlam, her match. Says she's 6-0 at SummerSlam, and now she's got Asuka's number.
Mm-hmm. Lifestyles, the Rich and Famous, and then we had a long ass Paul Heyman promo where he talks about tribal combat. I'm not going to do this verbatim because we already watched SummerSlam and we're already over an hour on the show. But Solo and Jay, we're going to have a match later on. And so Jay comes out. And then Jay is like, little brother, it doesn't matter what happens between me and you because you're always my brother. I'm going to forgive you. Okay, trust me. These mind games ain't it no more. They did the same thing to you they did to me. All you do is take orders. Roman probably gave you orders right now. And I'm telling you, OG is saying the same things to you that he used to say to me. All right? And Heyman says, no, not okay. He says, you think he really believes? And then Heyman looks over at Solo, who's like glaring at the microphone. Heyman lowers it and says, excuse us for 1 minute. He's like, can we have a word? And Solo doesn't budge. He says, get out of here. And then Jay super kicks Solo out of the ring. And then Jay says to Heyman, I'm going to tell Roman I'm going to see you tomorrow. And you, brother, I'll see you later on.
I'm going to Army. After that, commentary giving us an update on Rey Mysterio. Mm-hmm. Severe whiplash diagnosis. They said. Yeah. And then we got an Austin Theory interview. He talks some crap about Santos. Says that Santos injured his mentor, but he hopes Rey is watching because when he beats Santos, he's going to dedicate that win to Rey. But tonight, he's going to crush Grimes' dreams when he experiences Austin Theory live, A-Town down. And then Austin Theory has a match with Cameron Grimes, and Cameron Grimes basically wipes the floor with him for 90% of this match.
Yeah, I have no idea what the philosophy is right now with Austin Theory.
Doesn't seem to be much one.
He gets the jobber entrance in the Battle Royal.
I know.
I mean, he's easily eliminated.
Yeah.
He's going to beat Santos, but it's going to be stupid.
But then he's going to lose to LA Knight.
Man, I hope so.
Yeah.
Because Austin Theory needs something, man. He needs, like, it's like they're doing LaGeorge. They're doing everything they shouldn't do.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I don't know. But anyways eventually, Theory knocks Grimes off the top rope when he goes up top and then hits him with the 8-count down. It's like basically the only offense he hit during this match.
Oh, shit. Look at this. Roy Costin says TMZ and Sean Ross Sapp have reported Sonya Deville as a torn ACL. That sucks.
Damn.
Maggie says, my new favorite wrestler, Austin Theory. Her two favorite wrestlers right now, Austin Theory and Paul Orndorff, Mr. Wonderful. She's become a huge Mr. Wonderful fan.
Really?
Largely thanks to the MF Steve here. Let me tell you something streams. Huge Mr. Wonderful fan. Yeah. I'm going to send her some pinups from PW Illustrated.
There we go. There we go. That's so sad to hear about Sonya. That's a bummer.
I know, right?
Gosh darn it.
She's great.
She is great. So after Theory gets the win, we get an Asuka video package. She's training what looks like some sort of MMA gym.
Mm-hmm.
She says it's not fair that she's in a triple threat, but she's not worried. She'll beat them because she always has a plan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which made me believe, especially after the Kyrie news, that Kyrie could be showing up as soon as, like, Saturday.
That's why I put a lot of channel points on that.
Yeah, I put some on Asuka, too.
Yeah, man. Anyways, after that, we had the Grayson Waller effect with Bailey and Io Sky. This was basically just sort of set up for as you put here in the notes, disembodied Shotzi. Laugh. Fills the arena. Bailey freaks out, starts to leave. Waller laughs because he was playing pranks on her, and she's like, I'm not scared of Shotzi. They're laugh pranks. She says, and then Shotzi's music hits, and Waller's like, oh, that wasn't me. Shotzi's tank rolls out to the ramp. Bailey sends Io to intercept it. Shotzi gets in the ring behind Bailey. Turns around. Shotzi walks up to her, takes a swing. Shotzi blocks that. Bailey takes a swing. Shotzi blocks, punches Bailey, pulls out some clippers. And then Bailey beats feet. Shotzi gives chase through the crowd. And then it's Zelina Vega. She was in Shotzi's tank. She's taking on Io Sky.
Yep. And actually defeats Io Sky.
Mm-hmm.
Because Shotzi and Bailey show up at the stage. Shotzi tosses Bailey into the Tron. It tries to cut her hair. Well, Bailey escapes that and runs backstage, and this is distracting Io when she's about to go up top to hit the moonsault. Zelina ends up hitting a powerbomb on Io, follows with a code red to get the win.
Yep.
Apparently it's an MCL injury for Sonya.
Ah, okay.
But still sucks.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's quite as bad as an ACL.
Yeah.
So a speedy recovery, hopefully, for...
Absolutely, man. Sony's awesome. That team is really fantastic.
I know. So Jack Bauer here says, this is from Sean Ross Sapp, we've confirmed Sonya has sustained a torn MCL, and Jack continues MCL 6 to 8 week injury as opposed to 6+ months for ACL.
Oh, okay. Well, that is a lot better. In any event, continue to feature Chelsea if Sonya has to take time off.
Yeah.
But yeah, have them do this. What is this? Keep them on TV and here we go. Mayor Planet Houston says keep the belts on them, have them weasel their way out of matches. Yeah. I don't know, whatever. Have them do like vignettes
here's the thing,
instead.
though. When Sonya's finally all healed up, she can do the Kevin Nash bit. When she comes out in the wheelchair.
Yeah, right. You have the leg in a cast, but it's a fake one. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Gosh, that's so good.
They need to revisit that more often.
I know.
Yeah. I was watching a Thunder from '99 last night. I just randomly popped in. You know, the winning time just restarted again.
Oh, that started already?
The premiere was last night. Yeah. I was going to watch it out there, but my stepkid had the TV, so I was like, whatever. I'll just watch some Thunder in my office because I don't want to watch winning time on this lousy little 42-inch, you know.
Oh, it needs to be 80-inch minimum, right? Yeah.
80-inch minimum. But it was, remember when they made Raven, like they gave Raven like a rich guy angle?
Yeah.
Canyon was like, Raven, you know, your mom was worried about you, and he's got like a Lamborghini and shit.
Yeah, he's pretty much Johnny Polo again, wasn't he?
Yeah, right, exactly. And then like shortly after that, he was like, fuck this, I want out of my contract.
Yeah.
What a
Bischoff
ball drop
had that locker room meeting, said anybody that wants to leave can leave, and Raven's like, all right, peace, I'm out of here.
Yeah, this was February of '99, I think, and they were heading to Super Brawl. And do you know what the main event for Super Brawl '99 was?
That was before Russo got there, so.
Yeah.
But it was after. Let me
think of the lamest main event you could think of at that point, especially going up against like early '99 WWE, which is like the hottest thing. It's the lamest, oldest person thing you could do.
Well, it's probably Hogan.
Yep, and the oldest person you could do.
Ric Flair.
Yeah, that was the main event, dude.
Wow.
You had already cooled off Goldberg, so he was fighting Bam Bam Bigelow. And you had Hogan Flair.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. Way to compete there, WCW. After that, we had a Bianca Belair video package. She says at SummerSlam she's going to get a revenge. She was unstoppable until Night of Champions, but she can't make excuses. Got to get back to work. Says, you want me to face Asuka and Charlotte at the same time? Let's do it. Going to remind Asuka and Charlotte why she's the EST. She's going to hit them both the KOD and get the 1, 2, 3 and take back what's hers.
That was the super brawl where Rey Mysterio lost his mask.
Oh wow!
It was it was the Outsiders versus the Outsiders versus Conan and Rey, and it was a mask versus hair match, but it was a tag match. So whoever got pinned, Goldberg versus Bam Bam Bigelow, Scott Hall versus Roddy Piper for the U.S. Championship, Steiner versus DDP. What a waste. Wow. What an absolute waste.
Wow.
Chris Jericho was like so far. Booker T opened it against Disco Inferno.
Oh my gosh.
What a fucking waste. Good Lord. Anyways. So after that we had what were we now?
No, main event time. Jey Uso taking on Solo Sikoa. Jay gets the win here. Solo hits Jay with the Uranagi, calls for the spike. Jay ducks it, hits a super kick. Solo responds with one of his own. Then Jay hits a spear, follows with the Uso splash to get the win. And then Solo attacks Jay after the bell, throws him the ring post, gets a chair. But then Jay super kicks it right into his face, blasts Solo in the back with the chair a bunch, and then eventually just kind of rams the chair into Solo's head. So Jay stands tall.
Yep.
Close the show.
Got that right. All right. Let's see if we can get our latest celebrity impersonator in for the Raw preview.
There is no official Raw preview on .com nor on Twitter, so we have no Raw preview today.
WWE.com.
Nothing there, I'm telling you.
There's nothing here.
There's nothing there.
Can we just have Ed Manning do the preview for last week's Raw?
No, because it already happened. We don't need a preview for something that happened.
I don't think we did the preview for last week's Raw.
Doesn't matter.
Just do it this week.
No, because it already happened. We don't need to do a preview for something that happened.
Some fun small talk with Ed Manning. Larson and Ed Manning with some good small talk.
I'll give him 30 seconds max.
All right, here we go.
That's it.
This is the Dead Man who wants some small talk with Ed Manning.
All right, Ed, we got a lot to get through still. We got to answer some questions. We could do a little bit, maybe half a minute, okay?
All right, let's do it. Let's go ahead and do it.
All right, so what'd you have for breakfast this morning?
Oh, man, my old lady.
Your laugh sounds a lot like Steve's.
No, it doesn't. Don't lie.
It does.
All right, I'm back.
All right.
He's gross.
You got that right.
Ed Manning is good. I don't even tell you. Ask a good question. What'd you have for breakfast? Then he brings up, oral sex here on the show. Give me a break.
It's unnecessary.
This is a Christian podcast.
Well, I mean,
maybe
no,
not.
But
no, it's not.
No, it's not. But still, you want to answer some questions? Yeah.
Oh yeah, let's answer some questions.
All right, Chris Stanton's got a good one here.
Chris Stanton.
Could you make a case for Brock being the GOAT? So I think Cody's right. We're gonna miss him when he's gone. I do think to a certain degree Brock is underappreciated because I think he had that run. It's not exactly his fault, maybe not totally at least, where he had that belt forever but was never on TV.
Yeah, I think that is going to stain the legacy a little bit because I think people do sort of focus on that, but maybe the more time passes, the more forgiving people will be of that, because I think if you look at what Brock is and how unique he is, I think he can be considered an all-time great. Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look at his accomplishments. the fact that he was in a lot of ways a once in a generation superstar.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no one in pro wrestling right now like Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, right.
Nobody.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Who's that large? Who's that intimidating? Who's that legitimate?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's nobody. So, yeah, I don't know who's that athletic. You know, there's yeah, you can make the case.
Absolutely. Zyshawn Moore says, after Finn Balor failed to win the World Heavyweight Championship, do you think the best way for Judgment Day to complete the Golden Prophecy and to keep them together is for Finn and Damian to win the tag titles? Heck no. Top title or nothing.
Finn's not winning 8 titles. Maybe tag titles, but not a singles title, no. No, not anytime soon. No.
Really want it to happen, though. Maybe right now. That's why there's no Raw preview. They're like, oh, Finn's going to have...
They're like, oh, he just realized we fucked up.
Yeah, they did.
We should have Finn win that title. Now what are we going to do with the story that we have?
Yeah.
The story's so much better if Finn has a title.
I'm really disappointed people didn't walk out en masse. I asked X3 on Twitter, I was like, hey, dude, you know, what was the reaction? He was like, oh, it was a huge pop. Loved it. I was like, I don't believe you.
People really like Seth.
Man, I think people, you know, it was all just a hologram. People popping.
Did they pipe in the cheers?
Yeah, they did. And they showed people there. It's like Disney. They scanned everybody and then just showed them. But really, they were all just exiting en masse.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it could just be stock footage. They didn't scan anybody. Stock footage.
No, they scanned them.
All right.
It's alien technology.
It's not even really alien technology, Steve.
Not till 2027. Patrick Cheeseman says, with the new Bobby Lashley faction, is WWE creeping into AEW territory with too many factions? No, more factions are needed.
More factions.
More
factions.
Awesome factions.
Yeah, more.
More great factions.
More. Adam Fella with other factions and WWE helping wrestlers hit new peaks. Where do you see Bobby Lashley's new stable in a few months? That picture that Steve put on Instagram, all the titles.
Do I have it here? What do I have? Is that picture? Where's that picture? Let me see if I have that picture. I'm gonna put it up. Where's picture? Here's picture. Wait, no. Yeah, I was gonna do an updated version of this with Montez with the U.S. title, and then Dawkins with, of course, the NXT Heritage Cup. Because I think that'd be cool.
It's great.
Actually, that'd just be a joke. The Heritage Cup. It's like, why do you get the U.S. title and I get the Heritage Cup?
Why does he have to go after the Heritage Cup? Cruz here asked, Corey Graves called Michael Cole the greatest of all time. Do you agree, or is he the GOAT only in the WWE world?
Who, Cole?
Yeah.
Doing all the commentary now.
I know.
I'm excited about it because it means less Kevin Patrick.
Exactly. He's Michael Cole's understudy on SmackDown now.
Man, I don't know. You know, in the world of WWE, I kind of feel like JR has that title on lock.
You got to mention Gorilla Monsoon, man.
Yeah, I know. I think Gorilla Monsoon's up there too. But I think like JR doing Attitude Era stuff, I think that's always in the minds of the fans. It's always going to be prime. You know, it really is. I think Michael Cole had so many years with Vince in his ear that I think that's that puts a big damper on it, to be honest with you. I love Cole now. I think he does terrific work.
Yeah,
but it's been like for a year, you know, because he always had. If you listen to Michael Cole in the UK tournament, the original UK tournament,
he's so good because he didn't have anybody in his ear.
Because he didn't have anybody in his ear. Exactly.
I know. Johnny Knight Moves asks, who do you put the U.S. title on, and why is the answer Sheamus, Bobby, or AJ?
The U.S. title?
Yeah.
Oh, it's one man's game. LA Knight, yeah.
Yeah. Bobby should be going after world titles.
Yeah, I know. He should be winning world titles.
He should be, winning world titles.
Several here on YouTube. YouTube chat can be privy to this here. Unfortunately, I don't have the ability to control both because you're doing the Twitch thing.
Yeah. You got the picture.
Got it right there. Look, right there. Look at the wonderful Photoshop job I did.
Fantastic.
It's not actually Photoshop. I bent space and time.
Alien technology, right?
Yeah, Alien Technology 2027. I went and I got this picture.
Man, I can't wait till 2027. Andre Zimpel, power rank these 5 guys who you think would give LA Knight a challenge on the mic. Names are CM Punk.
Nope.
Samoa Joe.
Nope.
Wow. Roddy Piper.
No. He's last.
John Cena.
Maybe.
MJF.
John Cena is the only guy who can make people cry. So it's John Cena as a challenge, and then everybody else is just nothing.
I feel like Samoa Joe could be a challenge. I feel like Samoa Joe could. He about made Paul Heyman crap his pants.
Oh yeah, I know, but that's all kayfabe. I don't know. I just don't know
Samoa
what
Joe
he would come at him with. I think Cena would be fascinated by LA Knight.
I think so.
He's like,
I think so.
You're an empty vessel, but
I know. There's
the crowd loves you. There's nothing there, but you mean something to the crowd.
I don't get it.
I don't get it. And then he starts ascending. He's like, I must go on a journey because he is Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Ethan says, now that CM Punk is back with the real world championship, can Wardlow finally go after the world title since he only wanted to win it from Punk? That is actually a good point. Remember that? He was like, I don't want to go after the world title because Punk doesn't have it or whatever it was. It was something weird.
Yeah. No, Wardlow needs to worry about getting on TV, much less going after titles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Devmo. Yeah, I can't confirm here. Sean Ross Sapp just tweeted, Sonya has sustained a torn ACL after all 57 seconds ago. So that sucks.
Darn it.
Damn it. That's a bummer to hear.
Let's see here. Oh, wow. Here we go. Strife. We'll end on this one. We saw Brock basically give Cody the next up rub. When it's time for Cody to give that rub, who do you think it will be? Somebody like Carmelo, or is that person even in the WWE yet?
How old is Cody? Mid-30s?
36.
36? Something like that?
He's 36.
So let's say in 10 years' time.
Okay, 10 years' time. Ridge
so I think by that point, Carmelo. I think by that point, Carmelo will probably already be established on the main roster.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Parker Boudreaux.
Bring that full circle, huh?
Yeah, Parker Boudreaux. Wow. I don't know. It's probably not. I don't know. Maybe like, how old is Eddie Thorpe?
I don't know. Mid-late 20s?
I like Eddie Thorpe, man. I think
I
he's
do
great.
too.
The packaging, everything about him is great.
Yeah. I think whoever that is, if it's 10 years, that person's not even in WWE right now.
Alex Coughlin. I don't know. I'm just throwing out names of younger people.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, no idea. So anyways, that's going to do it. Or like in a twist, Brock comes back. Cody gives the rub back to him.
Well, I mean, if it's just 4 years' time, maybe Brock is the emissary, humanity's emissary for the aliens.
That would make sense.
And they have some sort of fountain of youth, and so, bang, it's like 2002 all over again.
Oh yeah, it's 2002 Brock. Oh, that's good. Thea Hale, there you go, Thea Hale.
And so he makes his re-debut in WWE.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
With like the mind of Brock, in 2027, but the body of Brock in 2002.
Man, I wish I had the body of me in 2002. I wasn't even in particularly good shape. I'm just saying. I probably hurt a lot less.
Yeah, I know.
A lot more energy back then, I'll tell you what.
I know.
Anyways, that's going to do it for the show today. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Until next time, we'll see you around.
Goodbye.